What is up, everybody? I wanted to show you a little bit of a film review that I put together of Mykel Williams, Alfred Collins, and CJ West. This is going to be the new 49ers front along with Nick Bosa. And I also wanted to show you plays and scenarios in which I think the 49ers will use them most. So we've heard that Mykel Williams, for example, is an edge setter. We've heard that, stopping the run is not an issue. And we might show a little bit of that, but for the most part, we're going to show him on the edge rushing the quarterback because that's his weakness, right? All the numbers say he can't get after the quarterback and he has no skills. I think what you're going to find throughout the course of these plays, and it's only about 10 plays each. I'm going to show some good, some bad for everybody. But for the most part, these are things that pop up frequently on film. I can show it all day long, but I am not going to cut up 100 plays of these guys. So I figured 10 would do it. And it will show you how I believe that the 49ers are going to try to use these guys. So when you look first here, you've got Mykel Williams. We're going to show him versus Texas in the SEC championship, which is this game here. But we're also going to show a couple plays against Texas earlier in the year because he matches up multiple times versus Kelvin Banks, who was the 9th pick overall. So here we go. Let's jump right into it. Right away. No, he doesn't get after the quarterback, but he makes his presence felt, tips the ball up in the air, and causes havoc immediately on play one as an edge rusher. This right here is perfect. You guys remember Alden Smith and Justin Smith? I'm sure you do. I hope you do. The 49ers have got potentially their Justin Smith. And when I say that, I mean a player that can eat up multiple gaps and allow somebody else to come around behind them, stunt behind them, and get after the quarterback in CJ West. And I'll show you a play later or a couple plays later where he does that very well. But what about Mykel Williams? Is he quick footed enough to make that bend and come around and be the stunt man and get after the quarterback? That's what this play shows you. The answer is unequivocally yes. Does a great job. You can see he's got a lot of power, man. A lot of power, uses his length well. This is him rushing out of a 2-point stance. Not going to happen a ton with the 49ers, but it will happen from time to time. But mostly what you're seeing is him outside the tackle or in front of the tackle at the very least in these situations. Just drives that man back. That's what I like right here. You look at this play. Okay, watch how quickly we're going to go slow motion here. Watch how quickly this left tackle gets out in front and is able to push. Here, it's skipped for you guys a little bit. I don't know. Here, let me go to normal speed. It's skipping for you guys, I believe. Whenever I go slow motion, I think it skips a little bit for you. Oh, here we go. Next play, we'll see it. I just want to make sure that you're able to see everything. Look, you can see the left tackle's already moving to jump out of his stance. See that space he's created right there? He's created a ton of space. Mykel is able to get into his chest quickly and drive him back using those long arms. This is why arm length matters, by the way. When you hear a tackle has short arms, this is why you've got to pay attention. Or an offensive lineman has short arms. It matters. When you've got a Mykel Williams across from you who's got 35-inch arms and is able to get into your chest and drive you back, and you aren't able to do anything about it except for hug him like a bear and get a penalty, it's a problem. And Mykel Williams is showing you exactly why it is a problem. He's able to get up, potentially gets a finger on that ball there. Now, this is where I envision him potentially on third downs is move to the interior to rush the quarterback. Oops. Let's do that again. Just doesn't stop. All right, this play here might be my favorite play. Look at how they try to confuse. Oh, no. I think this is a run play. Okay. I think this is a run play. So you're going to see they're going to try to hand off to the running back. They're trying to get him a wide edge here. The tight end right here is going to come across the formation and try to make a block on the backside. They're trying to hand off to the running back and allow him to get out. The left tackle is going to get to the second level and seal off Jalen Walker here. And it's all up to Mykel Williams to make this play. What you're going to see is the guard gets on Mykel. The center also gets his hands on Mykel. Now the guard, between the guard and the center, they're able to drive Mykel down to the ground. However, Mykel is able to hold the edge and allow Jalen Walker, who's badly out of position, to make the play because Mykel is able to use his strength and stay in that run lane and funnel the running back in. Check this out. Just couldn't get out there. Do it one more time. All right, there's that edge setting. All right, so now we've moved on to the other Texas game because now they're in the white uniforms. I wanted to show this to you, not because I mean he may get a duo block from time to time, depending on how the Niners line him up. But you can see here that Georgia, go back a little bit. You can see that Georgia, or excuse me, Georgia would line him up often as one of 3 down linemen. And you're also going to see that Texas, who is not void of small, strong offensive linemen, are going to try to run a duo block at him, meaning both the tackle and the guard are going to attack him and try to drive him backwards. You show me another 260-pound edge in this class that is not going to go backwards when 2 legitimate offensive linemen are putting their weight on him. Check this out. Doesn't hardly budge, man. That's defensive tackle strength right there. Oh, yeah. Okay. So on this play, what you're going to notice is off the right side, there's a free blitzer who's not even in the screen. He gets through clean, untouched. Mykel Williams has to go through some of the mud here. He's still able to meet him at the quarterback. Look at this. Drives him back. Drives him back. Nope. Get over here. Again, this is why short arms are a serious problem for offensive linemen. Look at how quickly he gets into the chest of that guard and just drives him back, walks him into the quarterback, and eats him for lunch. What are you going to do? Listen, we can say what we want, or people can say what they want about Mykel Williams. Oh, he's not refined. The stats aren't there. He's 20 years old. He has some moves in the bank to get home. He's only going to get better. Miss me with all the stats. I'm showing you multiple scenarios against a legitimate offensive line where he can wreak some havoc. And again, you're looking at all of this. What are we talking about? One sack, maybe? No, I don't even think there's been a technical sack that he's made. But you can't tell me he's not changing a game here. Right? This is why stats are for the birds sometimes. All right, this is him matched up. Anytime you see 78 over here, this is Kelvin Banks, who was drafted 2 picks before him. Here, I'll rewind it so it doesn't glitch for you guys. Right? And that's where he still gets there. But this is where you can see he's not at that point yet in his career where he's stacking pass rush moves necessarily, right? It's just he bull rushes. Maybe he side swipes there, doesn't get home. However, what I also like to see is later in this same game, he does stack a move to get home and beat Kelvin Banks. Oh, this is a great play. This is a great play. Okay. So this play here, they try to confuse him. They are letting him come unblocked, and their plan is sleight of hand. We'll be able to confuse Mykel, and we'll be able to get this play off. Fortunately for Texas, that is not the way that this plays out. Mykel Williams reads it, sniffs it out, and wrecks their plans. Oops. There we go. Yep. Yep. He's able to get home there. There you go. That's on Kelvin Banks. You ready? Swipes, gets around the edge, hits the quarterback's arm. And there we go. So, again, people can talk about numbers, people can talk about production. I understand. I'm not here to sell you that Mykel Williams is a finished product. However, we just saw a bunch of snaps where stats may not play into anything, and he's clearly making a difference in a game. And this is why watching players matters. This is why I was big on Mykel Williams, because I saw these things all over his film. Even though the numbers aren't there, he can wreak havoc. All right, here's Alfred Collins. He's just a mammoth of a man. What they say about him or what you've heard about him is true. He is not a refined pass rusher. However, you will see a little bit here where he's able to maybe stunt with somebody. This is where Mykel Williams might come in. And mostly, though, he's moving people and getting home. I also want to say, Coach and I really had a good back and forth on Saturday about Alfred Collins. And in that back and forth, I think I probably came across like a little bit of a jerk, if I'm being honest. But I was pressing Coach and I was pressing Tom because they kept talking about a bench press and a 40 time. And where on the film, this was my biggest issue, where on the film does that show that it's an issue? Where on the film does his low bench press show up as if he has no functional strength? To me, give me the functional strength. I don't care what you're putting up in the weight room. Can you translate it onto the field? And for me, Alfred Collins absolutely does that in spades. Check him out. This is against Georgia. Also, keep in mind, left guard, center, right guard. All three of these guys for Georgia were drafted in the top 95 picks. So keep that in mind as well. Oh, just bench press that. All right, that's the stunt. So we're gonna see in a minute. Alfred Collins really can get lost as a pass rusher, just to be truthful. But imagine number 11 over here out to the right is Bosa or Mykel Williams. We've already seen Mykel Williams can operate a stunt. Alfred Collins can as well. And even better, CJ West can operate a stunt, but he can be the guy that eats up the space. And we'll see that later as well. He just holds the line well. Look at this. Just holds his spot, holds his spot, holds his spot, walks down the line, gets to the running back. Again, the 3 players on the interior line of Georgia were all drafted in the top 95. What about the 40 speed, right? He runs a slow 40, allegedly. That's okay. Gets out, makes a play. Is able to run the guy down from behind. Look at that. Just stays in a spot, eats up a hole, and waits for the running back. Now, this is where you can kind of laugh a little bit. He's not a refined pass rusher, and this is why I wanted to show you this, because we're about being honest here. This is not a hype video. I love the Alfred Collins pick. This is why some people were not the biggest fan of it, potentially. He can get lost as a pass rusher, all right? I don't know what that was. I don't know what that spin move was, but you're not fooling anybody, Jack. All right? All right, but this is where he is strong. Look at this. Look at this. You need a 3rd and 1, a 4th and 1. Tush push situation. My man's got you. My man has got you. But this is how I do imagine him being effective in a pass rush and helping out. Listen, we don't need you to get the sack, but can you move the person in front of you backwards and hold the lane so that my edges can get home? The answer is yes. Yes, he can. And that's what we need from him. Again, imagine this guy coming off the edge over here. Number 11 is Nick Bosa. And you've held the quarterback in place. Think about this for a second. Alfred Collins holds the quarterback. Number 91 over here is Mykel Williams holding the quarterback in place. And number 11, well, number 11 is your Nick Bosa, and he's getting home causing problems. Right? So there you go. Now we're on to CJ West. CJ West is a little bit harder to find some of the stuff that he might do with the 49ers, because he really did line up over the center directly a lot. But there's still a couple things that we can derive from the film here. First of all, much like Alfred Collins, absolute space eater. All right, here we go. Now we're in a 3-tech. This is good. This is what you're going to see him do with the 49ers. Oh, there we go. All right, so much like Alfred Collins, pass rusher, he's not going to give you much. All right, he's going to hold his gap and allow others to get home. Man, much like Alfred Collins, also very, very strong. Very strong. Okay, yeah, here we go. So I think we got 2 plays here back to back. Remember Mykel Williams, the stunt play that I showed you, where he loops all the way around. Somebody has to be the guy that stunts down and eats up the two players to create space for Mykel Williams to come around. That guy, I believe, can be CJ West. And here's a couple plays that are going to show that. Here we go again. There you go. See? The vision is there. The vision is there. I'm just trying to see how do these guys work together. And there we go. Listen, much like Alfred Collins, sometimes he can drive somebody back into the lap of the quarterback. And that's all we need you to do, man. That's all we need you to do. Just eating up space, eating up space. Just look at that. Holds his spot. And there you go. So there we go. Hold on a second. I don't like that. I don't like all that. There we go. Okay. So you can see what they can do as individuals, which is awesome. But how can it be married together? And when you look at these three players, some of their strengths, you can see the vision of why they were all picked to be a part of this team. I love stats, and stats can tell a story, but stats don't always tell the truth. And this is why, for me, whether you agree with my analysis or not, depending on what it is, I will put in the work and I will watch, and then I will give stats to back up what I saw. Mykel Williams can be a game wrecker on the edge, even in the pass game. Whether the stats are there or not, you saw it, and I could show you many, many more plays that back this up. That is who he is as a player. Unfortunately for him, a lot of his time was spent in the interior. And so you don't get to see that a lot where he is taking on double teams. He's the space eater. Well, now he's got Alfred Collins, he's got CJ West. Those are going to be his space eaters. He will be able to do his thing on the edge while holding the edge and being a good run stopper. So hopefully you enjoyed this. Hopefully you got something out of this, and show it to a friend who may not believe in some of these guys as draft picks. And I wonder what they think. Check it out.